Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of New Video Let's Talk. Today, we're honored to be here with Nate Behar, a businessman, professional football player, also a poet. A lot don't know that. But yeah, bro, if you can just give us a little background on like who you are and what you do for the people who don't know you.
Where do you want me to look? Should I say
No, just chat it up. Yeah, let's just
talk
chat
to
it
us.
up.
Hello. So I'm from London, Ontario, like my distinguished guests or hosts here, I should say.
London locals.
Yeah. So I guess, from London, Ontario. Went to Carleton University. Spent 4 years there before getting drafted to Edmonton. Played 2 cold years in Edmonton, Alberta. Back here in Ottawa in 2019 as a free agent. Been here, I playing football. Since then, I've picked up some other pursuits, like started a company, and done a couple of things, run some camps, and I don't shut the hell up. So I guess I've said some things that some people say were like, I don't know, brave or useful or something like that, but it's mostly again just because I don't shut up. Other than that, that's pretty much me. I got a dog, got a Rottweiler I love, and
that's awesome. So that's a good way to start. Let's take back from the beginning. I guess beginning would be football, maybe like we're at a young age. Mm-hmm. Let's start there.
Yeah. So like a lot of people here that play football, I was like 6 or 7 and had ADD and had too much energy, and my mom was like, what the hell am I going to do with him? My dad liked football. My dad grew up in South Florida. He kind of suggested, he was like, yo, just put him in football, like see what happens. And I loved it early. My first ever play, this is a true story. At least I think it is. Might be one of those like those true stories. You've decided now is the truth. Yeah. I'm 95% sure it's true. If my mom's watching, she can tell us if I'm lying. My first ever touch, this was back at LMFA when we played on the field sideways.
Yeah, what team were you on? What team was he on?
Storm?
No, we were Red Storm.
Red Storm.
I moved. I was Laurier at one point. I was Westminster at another point. I wore blue and green, which was Laurier. And I think the most I was Westminster. It was like silver and black.
Well, Laurier was red and black,
yeah.
Weren't we? We were red and black Storm.
Yeah,
I remember that.
All over the place. My first ever touch was a kickoff return that I cribbed. And then my actual best friend on the team, I don't remember the kid's name, white kid with blonde hair, got a holding penalty, and I didn't understand football, so I thought he did it on purpose. Because the ref was like, no, it doesn't count. You have to go back. And I was like heartbroken. I was like, my friend didn't want me to score, and that was the start of my football. But,
That's jokes. I kind of have a similar story. Like the first interception I got in grade 9 at RMC, my first time playing football, I just went down on my knee. I didn't know you could return it.
Thank you guys. I did it. I'm just going to go down now. Yeah.
No, literally. And then I guess like, when did you take football very serious? Like when was it like, okay, like this is something I want to do forever, I mean, not forever, but like as a career.
I have the moment in time. It was probably about 11 a.m. on a Saturday in Toronto. My dad lived in Toronto my whole life, so I'd go up and visit him, once, twice a month. He lived in Yorkville at the time. We had just left the gym, the Yorkville gym right across the street. It was this like super bougie, over the top, ridiculous place. Then went to the school and we were shooting hoops because I was playing basketball at the time and football. And we were shooting hoops and I was probably like 11 and I beat my dad. Like it was like we were playing 1-on-1. Like I cooked him. Yeah. Like I crossed him, took him to the hoop, and like he's trying to go on me, back me down, and like I blocked him, and he literally stopped. He goes, "All right, Boogie, now's the time. Like, what are you gonna be? Are you gonna be a professional football player, professional basketball player?" I said, "Football." He goes, "Cool," and he just threw the basketball and said, "Go get your cleats from the car."
Damn.
So Boogie's your nickname? But from
just my dad though. My mom, not nobody
like Boogie because you dance or Boogie like the Boogie man?
As apparently when I was a kid, this is so fucking embarrassing. But apparently when I was a baby, I'd just be like, I'd go to my dad like when the music was playing, I'd be like, Dad, I just want a boogie. Yes. And that's where it came from. Yeah.
But that's sick. I mean, like at 11 years old, you said your dad made you make that decision. Like I played too many sports, too old, where I had too much injuries. So like focusing on one sport at a young age, like that's so advantageous.
Yeah, I mean it was cool. Like there's times where I wish I just played basketball because like you see those checks, but no, I mean it was good because it was like he was adamantly like, look, you can only like when you're training for football. When you're like going, whether it's a choice to like go get shots up or like go run routes or do whatever you need to do for you do football. Like obviously you play basketball, you're in high school, like enjoy, or you're going to high school, like enjoy yourself. But like extra training goes towards this, which is going to be your job. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it just made sense in my head. I was like, yeah fuck it. Okay, cool. But, I mean, it worked out. So anyway,
So yeah, you crushed the junior Mustangs, you're top recruiter, right? Like they were recruiting you number 1. Mm-hmm. I guess kind of take us through that. Like how was that being like, I guess so young, 18 years old and all these universities like, yo, I need her on my team.
Mm-hmm. I mean, shit, it was fun. Recruiting visits were fun as hell, right?
Yeah. I know about.
I love that you guys look at each other.
I was gonna say you had a unique experience though, where like you walk into a gym, it was just crazy, right? when you went to Carleton?
Yeah, that was wild. So when I came on my recruiting visit to Carleton, like the whole athletics center had like up to like 10 feet on all the walls and all the doors. Everything was, there was these like cheesy 8x11s printed out with like the I Love New York thing, but it said like Raven's Heart, number 11 Behar.
That's crazy, eh?
And then every staff member was wearing the stat on a shirt. That was pretty funny. I mean, Coach Samara, who coaches both, the salesman, the greatest used car salesman of all time.
That's what it was. It was a sales pitch almost in a way, right?
Bro, all
Talk.
I'll say is that the PowerPoint they had, if they could put that anything else in that PowerPoint, they could sell whatever you want to anybody, and they'd make millions off that PowerPoint alone.
Like the PowerPoint you mean to recruit you?
Yeah.
Because
Really?
at that time, it wasn't like at any other school. They didn't have a team.
Yeah.
That was the first year inception. They were redoing it. They were bringing it back. So they had to like. They were just showing you what, like conceptually, what they were trying to put on the field and put in practice.
What year was that?
2012 was the recruiting, right?
When they started, what time did you guys get on the field then?
13 was the first year, yeah. No, it was crazy. They literally hired Downstream, which is this like branding marketing company. I don't know why I remember this still. Branding marketing company that designed Oregon's, like a bunch of everything at Oregon pretty much, to do this. And that's why we had like the wing jerseys and all that stuff, because they were like, they took so much of the concepts. So that, like you said, that PowerPoint, fuck, if there was any startups popping up, they should just go take that PowerPoint and find a way to fucking put their business inside of it, because that shit was crazy.
Yeah,
it was outlandish though.
Copy and paste. Yo, I'm a skeptic, and I fully bought into that PowerPoint.
Yeah.
There was a point in the PowerPoint.
What was it about the PowerPoint?
Yeah,
There was a point in
what
the
sold you guys?
Oh my god. Okay, so the locker room was legit. The locker room was beautiful. It was state of the
Brand
art.
new, right? Like, just brand new, right? Okay.
They converted the old student gym. So Carleton's not a big university, but it's not small. Like, so it's a very big gym. They converted the whole thing into a high performance center and built a new gym for the students, so we could have this massive space. That was real. Yep. Then there was the rat bus. That never showed up.
What's that?
Like a bus with a Carleton Ravens football wrap where like we'd all be flexing.
Oh, on the
promo
PowerPoint.
shoot.
Oh,
like a Greyhound, but like you know, you
wrapped.
show up. It's
Yeah.
like our tour bus. We show up. It's us in the city.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like all man's pictures are on the bus, and you're there in the uniform. And that's another thing. The uniforms they had.
They were
The uniforms
they
were
were
legit.
sick. They were,
And those were real too.
Those were legit.
who sponsored you guys? That's a good
Nike.
one. Nike. That's
So
sick.
3 out of 4 things were real, and then the biggest one that was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. But Steve knew what he was doing. He knew he was going to come find arrogant, self-centered 17 and 18-year-olds that were going to see these things and go, that's going to be me. So the number one, the biggest one, for anybody watching that doesn't know Ottawa, when you're like south of downtown, there is one tall building. There's one building you can see from far away, and it's Dunton Tower at Carleton. This is brown. It's pretty fucking ugly. But like you can see it all the way like Fisher, baseline, all the way, right? You can see it like east of Carleton. You can see it south of Carleton. You can see it west of Carleton, Dunton Tower. It's like the journalism building, but also where those teachers mostly are. Yeah. They had on that PowerPoint a fucking one Carleton Raven football player facing Ottawa. They go, yes, we're going to put a silhouette, like a fat head. Like, you know, a fat head goes on the wall?
Yeah.
We're going to put a fat head facing Ottawa U, because you can technically see Dunton Tower from Ottawa U. So we're always staring them
Watching
down.
over the
Every 17, 18-year-old is like, that's going to be fucking me. Every
That didn't happen,
every
did
girl's
it?
going to fucking see me at all times.
Yeah.
When I'm on fucking Instagram, they're like, there's number 11. Oh my God, I know him.
Yeah.
He's the one in the building that my bus goes by every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that PowerPoint, man, that shit was...
And especially at a young age too, right? At a young age, 18, like 19, like around there, like you want
17 for
17,
most
yeah.
guys, to
like
be honest.
you want that, right?
And like it's different because like, you know, when you're high school, like you're at the high school, you're going to practice every day, you're there every day. It's fun. When you have people messaging you, like every day, once a week, saying, "Oh, it's different." You're like, "What the frick is this? This is kind of cool, yo. This is very like intriguing in the sense of like, because this is a future setup. They're setting you up for your future, right? So you're like, why is this guy taking interest in me?
Yeah.
When realistically,
Deshaun,
up
come a
until
little
that
closer
point,
to the mic.
up until that point, you choose where you're at. If you want to play LMFA like we did, you pay, you go. You want to go to RMC, you pay, you go. You know the fees. You have to pay the fees and go. These guys are saying, no, we want you. Please come. That's where I found the switch.
Because they paid your fees now, and it's now you guys get to play.
Yep.
You guys get to play the great sport you guys love to, but on our budget in a way.
Yep.
Okay, well, I kind of want to switch the direction. Like, how was it balancing football and academics? Because like I went to Queens and I was just a student though, right? And like being a student, it was tough. So like I always saw the football players. I'm like, how the hell are these guys doing 40 hours of school, 40 hours of football? Like, how are you balancing that?
Creatively.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I
With a lot of help.
no, I mean,
D's get degrees?
Yeah, I took 3 courses every semester, just about.
Yeah.
And like would be very particular. Like I didn't so I wanted to go into journalism, but you know, high school was high school. Didn't get the grades. Journalism program at Carleton's like #1 in the country. That and Ryerson 1 and 2. So then did what everybody else does. Fall back from journalism. You go to communications. It just barely interested me at all. That's actually an understatement. It just I was there to play football.
Yeah.
So I took 3 courses. I would figure out on the first day. I would usually start with 6. I would go to the first like wait till the syllabus came in. Figure out when all the final projects, like the 3 classes with the final projects close enough to each other, and then I would take those 3, drop the other ones, and then I would pick 2 days to go into the library and do all of the assignments. And then outside of that, I didn't have school.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go.
So you were like strategic, and you kind of like knew like football was your #1 thing there. Like that was like your main focus.
There was no question.
What kind of work ethic does it take to actually do that all though, right? Because like you don't want to do any of that schoolwork, but then you have to because it kind of depends on your career. So
Right.
How do you kind of like do that?
I mean, it was like a very easy trade-off for me. It was like, hey, you're gonna live the greatest university life of your life like possible for 98% of days. That's probably the wrong statistic. It's probably 96% of days.
Yeah.
So can you commit 2 days to turning your phone on airplane mode, sitting in the basement of Macadrum Library and just busting out all your courses you need to do? It's like that's the easiest trade of all time. Like if I'm the GM and someone comes to me with that, like, yep, okay, click, bye, sign the paper. Because it was like when I say school didn't exist outside of that,
It didn't.
I mean, it literally like it wouldn't cross my mind. It was okay. We knew when the exam was going to be. Sweet. Day before the exam, you study, you get it done. Awesome. Finals, great. Finals weeks is, I mean, it's the same for everybody, but in like regular flow of thing, it was like
non-existent kind of thing.
It was not a real thing.
Let's jump into that.
I was gonna say before that, like I know you probably hear this all the time, but I was there present in the moment when you caught that ball in Panda game. You know what I mean? I know it was a while ago, but bro, like that was a crazy moment. You know what I mean? Like kind of take us through that, like because honestly, like that was on Sports Center, that was going everywhere. And that's gonna be a mark in history, whether you like we accept it or not. It really is, right? It is though. It was bro. It was fucking crazy. I was there jumping and like take us through that moment, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it was dope. It was our first win against like a good team, like an actual team that was good. I think they might have been ranked.
Who'd you guys play?
Against Ottawa Youth. So it was the Panda game here at TD Place. It was the first year back in TD Place. At the time, it was only like 15,000, 16,000 because they didn't think they were going to sell the seats. So they just only did a little bit. And yeah, it was like the team was balling the fuck out. Like it was like one of those games where it was like, okay, because first year we went 0-8. Second year it was like, okay, I think we were 1-1 or 2-1 or 1-2 maybe even at the time. So then it just kind of all just started happening with the ball at the 5-yard, bang, bing, bing, and then the good thing is there was no timeouts, so we didn't have enough time to sit and think like, oh my god, we're fucked. It was just like, okay, play clock started, quarterback's running in, Jesse's running in because he's coming in with a big arm. Bone calls a play, go out, yada yada. The ball gets thrown, tipped, all that good stuff, and then it was like just a massive humanity on the ground, and like I kind of blacked out at that point, and then woke up and literally there's 7,000 people on the field.
Do you remember having that ball in your hand?
I think I remember having it in my hand, but then like after that for about 3 or 4 minutes, it's like
getting so much emotion. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's actually weird. It's like
I want to ask
thing.
is like, did you have this kind of after everything went down and you had all these like everyone kind of not harping but like kind of like bigging you up? What did that make you feel, and like, did you believe that was you after?
It's a good question. What I will say is that before, like that was kind of my first game, like my first year where I was like, I've always been confident, like you know, but I've like my first year, I was first game of the year, like high ankle sprain, like just kind of like had like 2-ish good games. Then that was the start of the second year. First couple games were good, but that was my first game that was like it was like a lot of yards, and like that was gonna be on television, and fucking James Duffy from TSN was texting me after the game, like he went to Carleton and was like, let's fucking go, and I was like, oh shit, and I was like, okay, this is who the fuck, like to me it was like, this is who you are training to be. I don't know if that's hard with say, like it felt like it was like, okay, that's like the first real like
you were expecting it kind of,
and like the first like stamp of approval of like, this is what happens when you work this hard, like good job, you deserve this one, sit in it. And by sitting in it meant everybody on our team forcing tequila shots on my throat. So like enjoy it for a second.
Well, kind of going back to when you said about your dad when you told him I'm gonna do football. I guess this was like the first stamp of approval where you're like, okay, I did football.
Yeah, exactly. It was and it was definitely the first one at that level. Like in university, it was like, okay, I'm here. This is good.
And for someone
We did
who's
it.
probably always like pushing forward to try to like be better, it's probably you don't give yourself that much time to give yourself a pat on the back, right? So like that was probably the first moment you're like, okay, like
I think that's probably fair. I think too much. I think the whole team did too much because we got smashed.
Especially football, because like football is like the way your coach is like, it's always the next play. You have 5 seconds, then on to the next.
Yeah.
Because there's so many plays in the game, right? So like if you're, especially football, it's stop and start, stop and start, stop and start. So that moment is one that's hard because it's, like you said, it's almost transcendent in a way because like that's an ideal college moment.
yeah, literally,
Yeah.
yeah.
You man's play NCAA and that's NCAA mans are like, you know what, I want to do that in NCAA. Like I'm trying to throw Hail Marys in NCAA. Like that was the play in NCAA is I'm gonna throw Hail Marys in NCAA.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's where I feel like it was the big
Yeah.
that switch of like we can do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like let's bask in this for a bit, but at the same time it was more so like I feel like at least for the Carleton, from the Carleton perspective, I was playing on the defense. It was more so like let's ride with that those emotions and carry it on into the future. You know what I mean? Like
That was a big year for you guys, no?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we barely missed the playoffs. It was like, and like literally we're all 19. Like we're children,
babies.
children,
Yeah.
children.
Especially with football,
Yes.
it's a physical game. When I say like, when you're especially kids coming from that, our OVFL team we just changed and we went to like what was it like 13, 14 and 0.
Yeah,
There was always a sense of this is not competition, like that physical side of it. We were always the biggest,
The top,
strongest,
yeah.
fastest kids out there. But
You
when
guys
you
saw
go into
difference.
this, you're going against guys who have kids and they're like 24.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, this is when you have to take a step back, and like you said, that's the time when you can really clock in and like, okay, I need to put in my best isn't even good enough in this time. So that off season, I remember after that was probably the craziest off season I've seen. Like at least from my perspective of a bunch of guys staying in Ottawa, going to work, and showing up every day on the field and saying, let's get better.
yeah, it was wild.
And then I guess to build on that, like you've seen football from a lot of different perspectives. Like, you know, as a young kid, as a high school, junior Mustangs, then university, and then professional. You know what I mean? I guess how was turning football into an actual profession? Did it kind of take the love away from the sport, or?
Can you believe it?
Oh, what is love? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Professional side of sports is so hideous. Yeah, I mean, so my very first introduction. So, it's a celebration. I'm drafted in the first round. This is amazing. Woo!
Yeah.
Very literally the next morning, my agent, may he rest in peace, Jonathan Hardaway, by the way.
Passed away?
He did. But great guy, did everything for his guys. He calls me the next day after, you know, we popped bottles, everything's great. Like 7 guys went that year.
Yeah.
7 guys from my recruiting class went that year. Calls me, he goes, Nate, so Edmonton took me. He goes, I got to tell you right now, I've been in this game for long enough. This is going to be horrible. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, every single team, because he was known for being a difficult agent. Yeah. Every single team has called me before this draft and said, what are you guys looking at? What's your 2-year? What's your 3-year? What's the number you're looking for? Yada, 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 yada. He goes, the only person that didn't is Brock. I'm not going to say his whole name. The GM.
We
He
know.
goes, exactly. The only person who didn't call him, he goes, I know why. He's a new GM. He's going to try to have a swinging competition with me personally.
Like negotiate your contract.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
like, it's going to have nothing to do with you. He's like, do you trust me? I was like, yeah, that's why I signed. That's why I hired you. He's like, trust me.
What made you trust him though? Because like think about it as an agent. Because
Yeah.
usually if we look in the sports world, those are the people who fuck you over. If you don't have a good agent, what made you trust him? Right? Because like, remember, this is your career. This is your financial well-being. Like a lot of these things. What made you trust him?
The fact that the only way he makes more money is if I make more money. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like there's it's mutually assured destruction in a lot of ways. Do you know what I mean? It's
The same like financial incentive.
yeah, exactly.
Symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
That's
That's the one.
That's the finest.
A shark in a
We're going to
remoraid.
biology. You're right. It's a
A
symbiotic.
shark in a remoraid.
Yes.
The remoraid lives off the shark, but the shark's got to swim.
Exactly.
So you're the big shark. He's your remoraid.
Something like that. There's that's the Kanye West version of all my agents know I hate agents. But yeah, no,
I love it, bro.
it's it was crazy, man. It was like between the draft and training camp, it's like 3 or 4 months. There was 2 emails sent from him. So my first introduction to pro sports was what ended up being a contract Like I was the only person in the entire CFL that held out from training camp because of contract.
And wasn't there like stupid news outlets on you, like bashing you and like just ripping on your name for like no reason?
Making up nonsense.
Yeah.
So there's this guy who Dave.
Can't remember the name, but that's what you'll get. That's what you'll get.
He is like kind of the mouthpiece for the organization, like, but has a big following in CFL, yada yada, and like tweeting stuff like, "Oh, Nate wants this signing bonus," like picking it up, saying the most outlandish numbers ever. It was so bad that like I have fairly thick skin. Like I don't usually give a single F. Like I went home to London. So I was like, "Mother, I might need to be held."
Yeah.
Like I was having people tweet at me being like, "We hope the first time you step on the field, you tear your ACLs and ruin your career. Sign this kid to whatever he wants. Never let him play, so that he never ever gets another contract in his life."
Damn.
Like it was crazy. I was like, "Guys, I haven't even talked to the GM."
Did that fuck you up at all? Because it's like,
I think just more like jaded. I think I guess it's depends on your perspective.
Well,
Either fucked me up or it just like made it real to me.
yeah. Like, did you believe it? Like, why do they want your downfall? Like, that's like, you know what I mean? 'Cause,
Yeah.
Like, did you ever question like maybe I'm making the wrong decision here? Like, should I just sign the
Yeah,
thing?
for sure. That for sure. But I'm also like, I mean, I'm never gonna.
you won't fold.
I'm not gonna fuck
I
that.
feel that.
Yeah.
That dude, like, you won't give that. You won't give them that win over you, right?
That satisfaction.
The price is the price.
Yeah.
The price is the price. Yeah. What our man say? Yeah, and the price hadn't even gone up at that point. That's the craziest part.
Yeah.
But no, it was like it was crazy. That was the first, my first exposure to like how this works. It got so bad that my first time talking to the GM was the day before I signed, because my agent was like, "Look, we're gonna take this one if you want it. Like, this is the only way to not miss game checks if we take this one." And like, but we can do it on this many years, so you can get out for 2. Yada yada. Do you want it? I was like, yeah. He's like, okay. I was like, the team's not gonna be happy, and you're not. Like, this is kind of a lose-lose. I was like, fuck it, as long as they don't win. So I called him. I called the GM and I said, look, I will sign this if you want me to sign this right now and be on a flight at 4 p.m. But you will train me for 2 years. I'm a Canadian receiver in the CFL. First year, you're gonna make me play special teams. Second year, you're gonna get me on the field a little bit, teach me how to play. And then my third year, where I'm gonna figure this all out, I'm going to leave because I'm a free agent. Do you want that, yes or no? He said, yeah, 2 years is a long time. We'll figure it out. I said, Brock, I'm telling you right now, there's no questions. I'm gone. Yeah. He goes, okay, I'll see you tonight. I went, and then he tried to have the conversation with me in my second year, and I said, you remember what we said? There's no discussion. There's no discussion to be had.
Yeah.
And then I left.
And then that's right after that. That's when you went to Ottawa, right?
Correct.
And played. That must have been really sick though, coming to play with we played university ball.
Hometown
Except
hero.
we sucked. Yeah. But it's great to be back in Ottawa. I love Ottawa.
Do you feel like a hometown hero when you come back here? Not like in like. I feel like there's other people who probably have.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe other people make you feel that way, right? Because like,
I mean, I literally just love being here because it's like one of my favorite things, and like, you know, some of my best friends and one of my favorite places to go is Toronto, but I can never live there. But like, you know, there's places like that are so much fun and all that good stuff. One of the things I love about Ottawa is that when I go to the coffee shop, I see people I know. When I go to the bar, I see people I know. When I go to fucking Winners, I might run into somebody. Like, those are the things I love.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if you're in the area and you play on the sports team, like there's like that.
Yeah.
But if I was just doing cool shit or a fucking bar promoter and I was getting people in on guest lists, I'd probably feel the same way. People would be like, "Oh, what's going on, Nate?"
yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Bottles, I got you.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Does it not feel like London just a little bit advanced, like in time wise, like 100? Give London 100 years. And are we not having the same conversation?
Like, yes, and then like just throw some black people and like some people, you know,
More
backgrounds.
multicultural.
Yeah, exactly. London with some pepper.
I feel like that's,
Listen,
that's
London,
also
we're working on
solely due to the sports teams, especially because they have the basketball team now.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
And also it being in the federal, like the government town, like we've brought in an incredible amount of refugee families and stuff that have just made this place actually livable.
Facts.
Like, London gonna be the spot.
Yeah. One day.
I want to switch this. Yeah, I want to switch this up because this is I think like you have done a lot of impressive stuff, but like for me, like I'm a business guy and like this is super impressive. Your app that you created, right? You're the CEO of FireWork app. Can you kind of explain what that is? Because like it's fucking sick, man.
I really appreciate that. Yeah. So FireWork started actually like COVID kind of, but yeah. So it was right before COVID had started. I had like a couple different friends all reach out to me. They were all starting some sort of like brand, you know. It was like one of them was like necklaces and chains and glasses. Another one was crazy. It was like Himalayan salts that go into whatever. Yeah, something like that. Pretty much on steroids. And another one's just an athletic wear brand. And it was like, first one, they also the same thing. It was like, hey man, like doing this thing, can you connect me with some of your CFL and NFL buddies? Do some marketing. And the first time you say yes. Second time you're like, okay. And the third time you're like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And it was just fortunate enough, like with football, how all football off seasons are, you do fucking nothing for 6 months except for play FIFA.
Yeah.
So I was like, and I remember saying to one of my friends, like, I think there's a way to like make it easier for people and athletes, or sorry, for brands and athletes to come together. You know what I mean? I think there's a way to help to make brands and athletes come together better. I just started doing some research and like trying to figure it out, and then FireWork was born. I mean, so yeah, we built a matchmaking platform for brands and athletes to do marketing deals together. And yeah, it's been a blast.
And I was gonna say like I guess what made you see that gap? Like, were you getting marketing opportunities or branding opportunities, and you were seeing that your peers weren't, or? No,
honestly, the first thing that turned me on to it, like I said, was like my friends who had nothing to do with sports, just being like, "Can you help me find help me with your athlete buddies, like just your friends you play with at Edmonton or whatever." And then I literally actually made a survey I made a survey for like influencers, which was pretty much just like the hot girls that I knew that like had over 15,000 followers, including my current girlfriend and love of my life.
There you go.
That's actually sidebar how we got together. It was that first thing was that survey. It was a legitimate survey. There was no intentions, but then it sparked. It was COVID though. We were all locked in our house. So and then I made another one for athletes. It's just like, yo, like I have an agent. Do you have an agent? Yes. Okay. Do you get a lot of deals? And it was like, no, not really. I did like one or two things. Like, oh yeah, like PVL gives me protein every month, and I was like, that's it? Like, yes, like there's so much more value to you, and it kind of just made it so obvious to me. Of like, holy hell, like come on, like, what the hell's going on? And then obviously, like being in the CFL, if anybody doesn't know, we're criminally underpaid, so we're tuning into TSN. But like, so I was like, not only is it like not really happening enough, but it was like it'd be such a huge thing for people if they could earn kind of what they should for like, marketing deals and stuff. If you're making 95 or you're making 120 in 6 months, but you can earn an extra 15, 20, 25K for doing some marketing. I was like, that's actually huge. Like that's massive.
Yeah.
That's your down payment.
Yeah.
That's your, that's your mortgage. Like, that's all these things. So it just became so increasingly clear to me.
So how does the athlete like sign up for this app?
So right now it's www.thefirework.app.
We'll add the URL. We'll add the link.
Oh, okay. I was gonna do like some cheesy finger guns or something. This one.
Brandon, you better get that.
There you go. Yeah. So the firework.app. You make a profile, and get rocking. Yeah. So like we'll pull out your data. We'll have everything but your social media on there. You can put your own bio, your accomplishments, pretty much build an online media kit. And for anybody that doesn't know, a media kit's kind of how you would traditionally find brands. You'd have like a one pager about yourself. Be like, hey, here's my stats. Here's how many followers. Here's my engagement rate. Here's all these this data about you.
Like a resume.
Exactly. It's a resume for brands, for brand opportunities.
My audience, specifics. And
exactly.
Cool.
So we'll do all that for you for free. You have it. If you want to find brands outside of us, boom, send it out. Do your thing. If not, we'll help you find brands our way as well. We just want to help athletes.
And brands, I'm assuming they do the same thing. Just reach out to you or sign up in a profile. Or?
Exactly. And then they'll be able to post campaigns. So they'll essentially be able to say, hey, I'm a brand. We're looking for, we're a protein company. We want 2 or 3 posts over 4 months from an athlete. We're, a couple stories. We got this much money to spend. Boom. We're looking for athletes in these sports. Post. Athletes will see it and go, fuck, that sounds great for me. Yeah. And then you're allowed to pitch yourself. Like, hey, yeah, this is why I'd love to do it. Yada, yada, yada. Have the conversation. Everything gets handled through their payment, invoicing, contracts, etc. Can you
talk a little bit more on like the growth of social media, using it as a marketplace?
Oh, yeah. I can go. How long do we got?
It's all you, but start from the beginning. Like, how'd you start that though? Like, would you choose like, okay, what's my first?
Bro, you were in the bathroom. I think we already discussed that.
The avenue of attack. How you figure out like who's the first person I pick?
Right. In terms of like building the team and stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, that is a great one. So I had the idea. You can trust the boy.
Yeah. Because I didn't say it, I got a good one. Yeah. That's why they don't know.
Being led by the spirit, bro.
So essentially, what happened? My friends reached out to me, all that good stuff, and I was like, okay, what do I do? Like Googled, how do you start building a tech company or thing, right? And it was like that simple. Fucking free business template online, click. Found some, cool. Built that all out, spent some time, market research, all that stuff, right? Like, it did the basics of it, and, you know, enough common sense to do that. And then I got lucky, found somebody one of my friends worked at Shopify, found one of the, he was like a manager, he'd been at Shopify for 10, since there was like 15 employees. And reached out, was like, hey, I have this idea. I'm here in Ottawa. I'm a football player, play with the Redblacks, yada, yada. You want to get some coffee? He goes, fuck yeah, I'd love to. Told him the whole idea, went through the business plan with him, picked some holes in it, obviously, but he's like, there's something solid here. Run with it. Went back to my same friend at Shopify who luckily managed the interns at Shopify. I was like, dude.
Sick.
I was like, I feel like Tyronn Lue.
Yeah.
I know in tech that I'm not that important.
Everybody.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not that important. Like, I'm Tyronn Lue at best. Give me a clipboard. Like, it's my idea. But I know this is tech. Like, I know I need LeBron. And he's like, I was like, can you try to help me? He goes, can I take what you just said to me and literally send it to other people? So he put it in the intern Slack channel. Yeah. I have a friend, played football with him, great guy, but it was AJ Thompson.
Oh,
AJ, yeah. He goes, he feels like he's Tyronn Lue. He needs LeBron James to help him
word
execute.
For
word for word. Boom, right away. Two guys, like, it was like 4 guys that all, naturally it was all guys with that aggressively stupid basketball reference.
But,
AJ, or fucking, not AJ, sorry, AJ's the guy. Adam, Yan, like the second and third call I had, and they were just like, let's roll. Let's go.
How big is the team now, right? Because you guys are pretty functional. And actually, like, it looks like you guys are successful from like what I can see, right? How big is the team, right? Yeah. How big is the team now, and like, what did you find were the masterpieces to the team actually working?
Oh, that's a great question. So we're 6. Essentially, because it's tech, right? So it's like you don't need to.
Just like New Vita, we're 6 too.
Yeah, there you go, boom. It's a good number. And then the masterpiece of the team, most important. There's 2. One is Wilson Birch, who we played with.
What's he do?
Didn't he just get married too? Yeah?
He just got married.
What's he do?
It was beautiful. He, before the idea of FireWork happened, he was a mechanical engineer.
My boy.
Told him the idea in December of 2019, so like 3 months before the business even kind of started. Told him the idea. He goes, "This is really cool." He's always been a computer guy. He's like, "I've wanted to code forever. Can I help you on it?" I was like, "Oh, fuck, obviously you can help me." He's like, "I don't know what the hell I'm doing." I was like, "That's cool." Like, a week later, he goes, "Dude, I found this coding boot camp. It's $10,000. Meg's gonna kill me." His fiance at the time, so they just bought a house. He goes, "Well, I'm gonna talk to her." 2 weeks later, he goes, "She's cool with me taking the money out for it. Yeah, like YOLO, let's do it." I was like, "Okay, you're crazy." And then now he's a full stack developer, one of the best developers.
Crazy?
No, he's unbelievable. Like, we brought in guys from Shopify, guys that work at Meta, a guy that works at Bell, awesome. And they're all like, we have never seen somebody with the output and velocity this guy puts out. And he's self-taught. Like, he's
student athlete.
So he's gonna be a CEO. Like, he's gonna be a big boss eventually. Eh?
I mean, he can be the head of product, CTO, anything. He just has to tell me what he wants.
Yeah.
At that point, and then Josh, one of my other co-founders, actually one of my best friends, little brothers. He just has. I'm like the one who can't collect a thought, and it's just like, "Ooh, let's do this. Let's do this." He's like the most analytical, but like focused. Like no, okay, give me 10 points as to why. Like, he's like the anchor.
So would you say there's like a visionary integrated dynamic? Like, you're more like the visionary with the big ideas and
just no process.
And he's the logistics. Can we actually make this happen?
Yeah, exactly. With a product background,
yeah.
and a digital marketing. He's a unicorn because he's done product for like years, like almost like 6 or 7 years in product specifically. He's also done like 3 years in digital marketing. So it's like with what we do, it's just like
unicorn.
Yeah.
And like being a visionary and like starting this business, did you find it was hard for you to let go and like kind of give responsibilities to other people because it was kind of like your baby? Like,
I think. He likes that question.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like that.
I think football teaches you to be able to do that. I will say. Like, I think that especially as maybe particularly as a receiver, but like my job that pays me, like I have 1/12 of the job. And even within that 1/12, it's probably fractionally less than that because like 3 things have to go right before I can even maybe get a football. So it's like, I think giving responsibility is not that big of a deal. Not being micromanaging, that's a different conversation.
Yeah. It's tough.
I'm working on that one still. But like, no, finding people that are better than I am at other things makes me so happy. Like, that's the best feeling in the world. It's like, oh, this is what you get. Thank you.
Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, people are the most important thing, right? Like, other people and like leveraging their talents with your talents. Like, that's how you make it the dream work, right?
Yeah.
Have you started outsourcing? By bringing that comment up, like, have you started like outsourcing like jobs that you think like you waste time on that someone else could do better?
I mean, we have a dev team in Colombia. Okay. They're phenomenal. They work with Wills and everything like that.
That's sick. How did you connect out there in Colombia?
Dude who's helping us with financials early. He's a banker to Toronto. His partner at the time, she worked, I think, with BMW or something like that. They've done like a bunch of apps for a bunch of big companies. And so we were fortunate enough to kind of, we hit a soft spot with Juan. He usually only takes on the big fish, but he was like, I think he was kind of like, I think he was wearing a James Rodriguez shirt the first time with Real Madrid. And I was like, I made a comment about it, and I'm pretty sure that's all that it took to sell him. And he was like,
Sergio.
This Canadian knows soccer. Let's fucking go. But no, so they're awesome. We got again, stroke of luck.
That's dope. And I was gonna say, like, in a perfect world, like, where do you see FireWork app in like 5 years? Let's say.
Taking over the world.
No, I mean, it has the potential to. Like, the idea is genius. Like,
no, we really want to be able to just like, we want to be the exchange for all things athlete marketing, and without going too technical and nerdy, like, there's so many opportunities to take athlete content and athlete branded content and amplify it across everything we use. This is a smart TV right here. I'm assuming, like, you're getting fed ads right now. I know because I've seen that stupid Amsterdam movie every single time I open up my thing. Like, there's advertisements everywhere. Podcasts like this. There's on YouTube. Everything. We want to be able to take athlete content that is the highest performing content on earth, and let every single brand, no matter what size you are, whether it's fucking Cottage Springs vodka or it's fucking Smirnoff and fucking Delagio, whatever the hell their name is. Like, no matter what size your brand is, you should be able to leverage athletes because there's an athlete for you. And then amplify that across as many platforms and channels as humanly possible, because that shit works. It's going to continue to work because athletes hold weight.
And that's crazy. And I feel like even just like you said, like, social media and the influencers are just changing the game. Like, I don't know if you guys know Mr. Beast and like Mr. Beast Burgers on YouTube. Like, the big dog. They're going up against like McDonald's and Wendy's and like even like Full Send podcast, like Happy Dad Seltzer. Like, they're going up against like these big alcohol companies. Like, I feel like the influencer game and like YouTube and social media, that's next. That's coming next, like, in regards to like taking over, like, because as a brand and as a consumer, I'd rather associate with someone I like and watch every day than to buy some like Kit Kat. I'd rather buy a chocolate bar from someone I talk to. You know what I mean?
I think that's the power of social media too, just in the sense of like those Budweisers, Bud? Those, you need millions of dollars to do even a TV commercial and just even Super Bowl. Now you could film something on your phone and you can reach probably more than just any of those people for free.
You know what's crazy?
So now it's about the power of the ad, not the money behind it.
A lot of individual brands now, right?
Yeah. So what's crazy is, like, we think back in the day, it used to be Ronald McDonald who like was the spokesperson for McDonald's, right? Like, no, like, think about this, right? And now they'd rather have an athlete because it's someone you can connect to. It's someone that I can look up to, right? It's no longer about the clown.
Yep.
It's about the freaking person who's actually doing something.
1,000%. And it's I was listening to a podcast by a bunch of really, I don't know their names. They're all just really rich people that are successful and pretty smart.
You don't got to shut them.
Who the fuck knows?
They don't need our shut up.
Yeah, they're random people that live in fucking San Francisco or something like that. Fuck them.
All in podcast.
Yeah. But like, every brands are going to be either won or lost, or they're going to succeed or not based on their content in the future. Like, in the next 5 to 10 years, if you don't have a content strategy that's like, what's the best way to put it? If you don't have a content strategy that's going to grab people, sure, the 1% will survive. Coke's going to survive. Fucking Smirnoff's going to survive. McDonald's is going to survive. But everybody under that, we look at Nike, sure, it'll survive. If Adidas and Puma and Champion and fucking Reebok's now Adidas, but whoever, like, if they don't have a content strategy that's centered around human beings that people can actually associate with and connect with, they're going to die, because Mr. Beast Burger did absurd.
He did 100 million
numbers.
The first day. So he set the record for the most sales made out of any company that's opened up one day. First day sales.
And he's obviously the biggest extreme of that.
Yeah.
But you look at, like, as this world goes and grows, and how easy it is now. There's a company right here based in Ottawa, Millions.co, who allows any athlete to go through them, create a logo. They actually handle the manufacturing, distribution, everything of your branded content. So now imagine that, 1,000 athletes out there with the biggest followings possible all launch their own lines at the same time. Are they going to beat Nike? Probably not. Nike's still going to have the check, and they put it to second check, and now we all go, oh, this is fucking crazy. But like, under that, we got to fucking eat. But you have, the other ones that are fighting to be underneath it, and you put a human being behind that, not just the brand, but the actual content to its marketing to them. And it's just something, like you said, you'd rather buy something from somebody that you identify with and feel. And if brands don't find a way to do that in the next, again, I think it's 5 to 10 max, like, they're going to lose.
And when you're presenting this business, like, to investors, like, how are they receiving it? Like, the big investors?
They get it. The creator economy, which is really what we're playing in, it's so well known at this point. The big thing with athlete marketing, the big thing in Canada is that there's not a crap ton of investors that understand sports. Like even in Canada, like our biggest athletes are like criminally underpaid. Like, actually, I'm not gonna put that there.
Say it. Come on.
Oh,
I'll say it. You know, it's not how it is in the U.S.
Especially when you put it to the fact that now in college in the States, you get some of their college
NCAA
athletes
are getting paid.
Somebody
more
signed
than
an $8 million
professional.
deal last week.
And
For
how
college?
old? How old?
College.
Wait.
In the NIL.
Who? Say this again. Like
$8 million deal. I'm forgetting the name right now. $8 million for one deal.
For what sport?
I believe it was football.
Probably
See?
Alabama.
And then
Texas,
what?
one of
CFL's
these
making
places.
less than that? How does that make sense?
Hey, an $8 million marketing deal. Don't get me started.
Jeez.
But again, that's also the difference though being is that the American engine of sport has been at work building it up, being bought by businessmen. There's businessmen involved who understand the value, right? Like businessmen came in to, let's pick a sport. Let's say baseball.
Soccer.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Fuck
Soccer's an easy way. Look at, for
Soccer,
example,
yeah.
like
Oh, fuck.
the European League, the Man U, like
Even-
Premier League. That's crazy. The money that's behind
Even
it.
on,
Billions.
on average in the States, I'm pretty sure it's number 2 in the States. The average highest salary is a coach. Any sport. But you can be a coach in high school and make more probably than a teacher here.
Oh, comfortably.
Easily.
You don't have to actually
And think
go
about
to
it.
school.
I remember. I think.
That's crazy.
You know what's crazy? We researched it. So I think our buddy, or David, our producer, he researched it was 900,000 is a rookie year contract starting in the U.S. Here, I think it was like 200,000 or somewhere around that. I don't want to don't catch me on this, but that's what like one of the highest payers were played.
Yep.
So it's like, how's a rookie in like with the demographic of so many more people making more?
for
of
me,
this-
it's like obviously like okay, it's a bigger market. I get it, but like it's the same. Like you're going out there and you're sacrificing your body. Like it's the same kind of like work.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
that's the
same
business of it,
sacrifice.
right? It's been almost 100 years in the U.S. of turning sports and athletes and the institution of sports into the deity, the church, and the state. Like that is what it is. Do you know what I mean? It's like
true.
people came in and realized, holy shit, if you make David Stern's a perfect example in the NBA. He took over. They used to call the NBA some crazy ass shit. This is back right before Jordan came in for Magic and Larry,
yeah.
and like. You know, motherfuckers were getting in trouble for legitimately doing crack in the club. And it was crazy. It was dark. But like that thing, they thought the league was going to fold. And a person came in and said, oh my gosh, if I turn these human beings into actual lore, if I make Magic and Larry seem like David and Goliath, or if I make Magic and Larry look like fucking Thanos versus Iron Man.
Storyline.
Yeah, you know what I mean? If you turn these people into bigger than humans, then all of a sudden people are going to watch. And then when people watch, I can now sell. I can now take Magic and put them in 9 different commercials that are going to air around the clock all the single time. Now all that you're doing is now leveraging the brand of the NBA. And so we're so far removed in Canada, just in a timeline, right? Like there's a chance to get there.
Yeah.
We're not on the path
It's
yet.
far off.
But like there's a chance to get there, but it's because it's just been so ingrained in everything that you do that like as a child you're conditioned to think that a sport league and a team and a player are just more than life actually.
yeah, in your
can
room
be.
you see the posters of like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant.
They
and,
were
like,
all
you-
paid for.
Yep.
None of them were free either.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. That's
you
true.
asked your pops if you know what I mean. Like, can I get a playing card of this?
Yeah.
Like, that barely happens in Canada. Maybe in the NHL.
maybe.
But again, just the audience isn't quite big enough. So it's like I could go forever.
That's a good way to
It's
put
not
it.
The
hopeless.
States is at the zenith of its existence.
They're
Like
the
it's so
pinnacle.
far removed. Like it's almost like back to that Roman Empire gladiator.
was gonna say that.
So you think it's gonna fall?
If you
falls.
study
Everything
history, it
falls.
never falls. It just shifts
Yep.
arenas.
Power dynamic.
Yep.
Yeah.
The arena shifts and then the audience grows.
Yep.
So it can grow like if it's almost like I know it sounds crazy, but a virus. It will jump host and it will grow bigger. And
Yeah,
us in Canada,
I absolutely hear you.
we
though.
have a bigger arena.
Yep.
If you really want to go down to geographical, we have a bigger arena and we have more
Less
space
people.
to grow. So I feel like we're just early in the game in the sense of Canada is shifting to that sense of like sports.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell like even just with this John Reddy like in Ottawa, the Carleton Ravens, the Ottawa Redblacks, the rebirth of that. Football in itself, like we don't have no teams out east.
Mm-hmm.
How many teams do we have out east? And just that's just football alone. We're not talking about hockey because
Nothing.
hockey is like the
Literally
main
nothing.
thing. But we see that resurgence of even investment in this space. And
Yeah.
That's what FireWorks big because it gives power. It gives that secondary where a football team now doesn't have to pay its players that as much if they're making
Money
double
on-
it on the
yeah.
side on the off season, because you can make as much as you joining our brand will advance you as a person to make more money. Because at the end of the day, the individual is the player, is the coach.
He
is
gets
the,
it.
Putting the power to the
Yeah.
players.
Yeah.
Gets it.
Power to the players is the goal at the end, right?
Power to all people at all times.
Love that.
the individual,
Facts.
the individual, power to the individual, then
Fact.
the
Well-
unit.
No, that's real. And then I also want to touch on this one soccer player I was watching on TikTok. He was at Carleton. He has like $200,000 TikTok.
Sahel.
Yes. And he's traveling the world, trying out everywhere. And
He
it's
just signed a contract. Shouts out Sahel.
and that's crazy,
That's a
right?
motherfucker.
And that's
That's
crazy
my
how
guy.
I know about him through TikTok. That's like, that's what we're trying to get at, is like the power of like branding yourself, the power of social media, and especially if you're an athlete, which is the number one influencer, like you said, like the glory eyes, like those are the heroes, of society. That's amazing, bro. What you're doing there.
gladiators.
The gladiators, yeah.
Oh, I hate
And
that.
it's
so
all
much.
just like perspective.
I hate the gladiator thing.
Oh,
Come
no.
on.
I hate it,
You
man.
guys are though. Like, come on.
I know. And that's why
That's
people.
the thing, though.
Never
Think
saw
about it. We show up to the
Spartacus?
arena, and the
Spartacus,
thing is,
that's
you
a
guys don't
show,
think.
yo, that's
We
a
show up to
show.
the arena. We cheer you guys on. You guys are waging the war 1 versus 1 just to see who's better.
And that's why motherfuckers think they can tweet at me saying, "You
Yo,
fucking
fuck
suck,
those guys.
Nate Behar.
I don't care. Screw
Fuck
those guys,
you.
yo."
I paid for my seat. You should dance, motherfucker."
Yeah,
I go,
no.
"Oh my
You ain't no monkey,
gosh."
though, right?
Screw that, screw that.
I mean, you say that again.
Alright, but
But yeah, no, like, bro, honestly, thank you so much for taking the time. Do you have any last things, I guess, you want, or any last plugins you want to say to our audience? Or you want a question? Come in, bro. Sit
Producer,
down.
our producer's
Let's go.
coming
The
in.
Producer
producer's
time.
here.
Producer
Come on,
David.
Behar.
What's up, guys? What's good?
Pow.
Dave,
All right,
talk.
so my name's Dave, producer side there. Nate, I only know you through, I grew up with Deshaun and Ricardo, so I knew your name. I have a question about a game I saw last year. And it was when both your quarterbacks went down. Yeah, was that your first time ever taking a rep in the CFL as a quarterback? And what was it like? Was this anything practiced before, or walk us through that?
Yeah, okay. So we're playing Hamilton at home in a torrential downpour. Probably one of the ugliest games of football in human history. Maybe only bested by the Colts and Broncos on Monday night. I don't know when this is going to air, but that was horrible. Whatever day it is.
Yes, that was so bad.
Yeah, it was horrible. So Matt Nichols tried to truck a DB for a first down, shoulder separated. Dom Davis, hamstring torn, like legitimately torn. And yeah, so the only time I've ever practiced, so then you only dress 2 quarterbacks, same in the NFL. So I'm the emergency quarterback. Every day 4, every walkthrough day, I go out, get some, I get some under center snaps just in case. You always talk about like, oh, you need 1 emergency quarterback. So I go under, with the O-lineman and fucking laugh.
Yeah.
And then I saw the second one happen and I went,
I'm fucking next.
and the craziest part about it is like, 'cause it was such an ugly football game. It was like 12-7 or something. Like it was a 1-score game. So our coach looked at me on the sideline and goes, Nate, we got to do this. I'm like, fuck
What'd
yeah,
you
we
say?
do.
Yeah, what'd you say?
I'm like, Coach, I got it. We're good. I was like, let's fucking go. I was like, just don't call plays. Let's just go only so our term.
Did
was
you play quarterback before ever?
in high school?
In high school, yeah. Okay.
So our term we had is follows, which is like our no huddle shit, where it's just
follow
one
me,
words.
whatever.
I was like, yo, let's just run follows. Let me call, and I'll be comfortable. And he's like, I'm gonna call the plays. I was like, all right, cool. So then I called the receivers in. I was like, fellas, I'm going in. If you're afraid and don't want the ball, put your hand up right now. And like one guy put his hand up. He's a vet. Fuck him. It's all good. Exactly. Everybody else, I was like, look, it's either going to go 2 ways. We're either going to have the greatest story of all time, or we're going to have the greatest story of all time. So we're either going to be out of there in 1 play, or we're going to be probably out of there in like 3 or 4 plays. I'm going to throw a pick. But who wants some yards and some stats? Let's go fucking crazy. And then we went out there, and then sadly, our punt returner fumbled the ball. He's the greatest punt returner in CFL history. He won Special Teams Player of the Year, but he fucking fumbled it. So then they scored, and it was a 2-possession game. So we didn't get to go crazy and like fucking air it out and shit. Yeah. But it was still a joke. I completed 1 pass.
Yeah,
There
we
you go.
did it.
There you go.
It's in the stats.
Under
It's in
the
the book.
stats. Yes.
It was a screen. Nobody has to know that.
They didn't see me. They didn't see it when it went.
But it was crazy.
That's
yeah.
dope.
That's sick, man.
Got
That's
any
sick,
more,
man.
Dave?
I think that's the only one that was really kind of sitting on my mind. You guys answered a lot during this podcast. Like really, really good information, good flow of conversation.
Appreciate that.
Sweet. And yeah, I guess like any last plugins or anything you
Yeah,
want to
plug
say?
in everything. Plug in your app, whatever you're doing, anybody you're surrounded by, what you're doing next, game tomorrow. Give us it all.
FireWork, the FireWork.app, the FireWork app on Instagram, Nate Behar 11. That's it. Fuck everybody else. Just kidding. But no, at this point, we're running over. All I want you to know is build a brand or don't. Just be yourself. And if you want to earn on that any of those apps, just post more. Just do it. It feels like, don't be afraid. Be yourself. And just be yourself more often in public, and then you'll never fucking know where it goes. There's people that make millions of dollars off fucking like cooking or like doing at home fucking renovations. Like
dances
just do your
on
fucking
TikTok.
thing.
Just do. Just do.
Just
So
do.
that's how we'll wrap it up. It was amazing.
Yeah, thanks so much, bro, for taking the time. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate you coming
Honestly.
out.
Around the mics. Around the mics.
Around the mic.
Appreciate you coming
Yeah,
out,
you
man.
guys know how we end it. So
Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment, and then
And-
obviously follow Nate.
peace.
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 I'm fucking up the editor.
Nah, man. That was